Guess where I just came back from? That's right, my Harvard 10-year reunion. In this video, I'm going to tell you all about what Harvard does for its reunions. I'm going to tell you about my 10-year reunion, and I'm going to answer some of your questions about how our reunion weekend went. Don't forget, guys, please like, subscribe to our channel, and drop any more questions you have about reunion down below. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Lotus Premier Education. My name is Amanda and I want to be your college tutor. Today we're going to talk about my Harvard reunion, which is one of my very favorite things to discuss. As you guys know, I love my college experience so much that I became a college counselor and I do college admissions and talk about college all day long. So it should come as no surprise that I equally love my college reunions. So a lot of you guys have been asking, what exactly does Harvard do for reunions? So we gave you an opportunity on our social media channels to send me some questions about reunion, and I'm going to answer those questions today. So the first question that you guys asked was, what exactly does Harvard do for reunions? Well, I'm really excited to tell you. So Harvard reunion planning actually starts about a full year before the reunion takes place. They have committees that work really, really hard to do all different types of pieces of reunion, like the goodie bags. So each class gets a special piece of merchandise just for signing up and coming to reunion. And my class this year got these really cute water bottles, which is really exciting and a nice way to just start out the weekend and remind you that Harvard is always here for you and that it's a great place to come back to. So that is how the reunions begin. And at reunion, there's a lot of programmed events for both bigger and smaller communities. So you'll have things like a huge dance party or a welcome yard fest type dinner where people will come and have a meal together and do a little bit of dancing as well. But you also have smaller reunions like your house or dorm reunions, reunions with your sororities, your final clubs, your clubs that you participated in while you were on campus. We have an Institute of Politics. We have the Phillips Brooks House, which does a lot of service and volunteering, and each of those organizations also run their own mini reunions. So there's lots of opportunities for you to reconnect with people from all different walks of your college journey and also to meet new people. They're what we call small interest group reunions, where you can get together with people of similar interests and reconnect or connect for the first time with other alumni from your class or from the classes around you. So going back to our question list, another thing that you guys wanted to know was, did you buy any merchandise while you were on campus? That is a great question. I pretty much have a hard time going to campus without continuing to collect my Harvard swag. So I got this very cute new tank top, but then I also got 2 sweaters that it is really a little too hot to wear, but you guys will see them in future videos. Another question that you guys wanted to know was, what was the difference between 5-year reunion and 10-year reunion? So interestingly, I felt like the programs were pretty similar between our 5-year and our 10-year. For the 5-year, I was there right from the beginning of the activities, but we actually had a family commitment this year. So we arrived at reunion about halfway through. But I feel like the biggest difference between the 5-year reunion and 10-year reunion was just that the vibes were a little bit different. I felt like 10-year reunion was a little bit more relaxed. People kind of went in with a little bit more of a game plan of who they wanted to see and who they wanted to spend time with, and were really intentional about that time. And then all the other meetups that took place were just kind of really comfortable and peaceful and happy. Whereas 5-year was kind of our first time back on campus, so it was really, really, really high energy. But great question. Another question you guys asked was, what were some of your favorite spots to go back to on campus? My favorite spot always to go back to on campus is Harvard Yard, specifically right in front of Widener, which is the main library. I find it so peaceful, so beautiful, and it's just a real place that kind of brings the spirit of the school together. I also cannot go back to Harvard without stopping by my undergrad house, which is Mather House. If you guys know anything about kind of Harvard tradition, students usually feel very strongly about the house that they were placed in. for the rest of their 3 years on campus. I was in Mather and I absolutely loved it. So we went back and kind of walked around a little bit. Other spots I love to visit when I'm on campus are right down by the river. It's a very peaceful, beautiful walk, and that's something that we've always loved about Cambridge. A lot of the restaurants and cafes and things that I used to go to when I was an undergrad have now changed. There was actually kind of a big turnover in Harvard Square, but I still love going to the Coop and getting kind of all of my Harvard merchandise, as we talked about. And I also love visiting the Charles Hotel on campus. They have a restaurant called Henrietta's Table, which has the best breakfast and biscuits around. So we always make sure to stop there too. So those are some of my favorite sites while I'm on campus. Other questions from you guys. Who did you meet up with at reunion? I got to see so many really special friends of mine. Big priorities were always my roommates, but also people that I don't get to see as much. So people from just different groups, and I feel like everyone was just really excited to see each other. Another question you guys asked was, what was my favorite class while I was on campus? And I actually have two of them that I'll share. So one of them is one of my English classes that was just incredible for me, set me up with my mentor. We did go back to the English department and kind of walk around that a little bit. But the second class may surprise you. One of my favorite classes that I took while I was on campus was archaeology. I was very much not an archaeology major, but it counted as one of our core requirements, and it was a really fun way to get that core requirement done. So a lot of students took this class, and it's really fresh in my mind because I saw one of my really good friends from college at this reunion that I met in that class. So I think a big takeaway when you're on college is don't be afraid to take classes that challenge you, classes that are a little experimental, classes that are fun, and classes that open you up to a different subset of students and maybe different friendships that would be harder for you to find in your normal circles. And the last question that you guys had for me is, what do you miss the most about campus? I think the thing that I miss the most is just the feeling that you get when everyone is there. So the most special part of reunion is that when you walk around campus, your people are there again. My family is lucky enough to go up to Cambridge, and I visit a few times a year for my job and things. But it's always harder walking the streets and not seeing, your faces around. And so the special part about reunion weekend is that for a small little time period, you're back with your undergrad community again. Something that is a little interesting about reunion is obviously it's just your class. So people who were sophomores when you were a senior, or juniors when you were a senior, or seniors when you were a sophomore, they're not around. And sometimes I do find myself missing those people on campus too. But with the way that reunions are structured, that will never overlap. So you just have to really appreciate the people that are there. And so what I miss the most about campus is the feeling that I get when we're all together and when we're all back at our lifelong home. And on that note, when you guys are looking for schools, make sure that you look for schools that give you this same feeling, a place that you are going to leave and you're going to say, wow, that will always be a home for me, because you only get to go to college for a very short period of time. It's a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Make sure it's the experience that you're really looking for and that you're excited to go back to. Thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you like learning more about Harvard reunions and reunions in general. Please subscribe to our channel. If you have more questions, drop them below and we may do a part 2. And we'll see you guys back here soon on Lotus Premier Education.